Hey y'all, it's Stacy. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we are making a recipe from one of our Farmers Federation members, Terry Gilly from Coleman County. This is her recipe for sweet potato cookies. To start, I've got 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To this, I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. I've got a cup of granulated sugar and a cup of firmly packed light brown sugar. I'm just going to use a whisk to kind of combine these dry ingredients together. Now the recipe calls for 1 cup of mashed sweet potatoes. So what I did is I just roasted some sweet potatoes in the oven at about 400 degrees for about an hour, and then just allowed those to cool and those peels slip right off. So this is our 1 cup of mashed sweet potato that's going to go in here. I've got a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter that's melted. I've got 2 eggs, and I've got a teaspoon of vanilla. Now I'm gonna use a mixer here just to combine this. Now Terry's recipe also calls for a cup of toasted nuts. I chose to use pecans in this because that's typically my favorite nut for cookies like this. And what I did is the same thing. I just roasted those in the oven at 350 degrees for 5 to 8 minutes. You just want to cook those just until they're fragrant. What we're doing here is just combining this till we get that nice thick dough that we're going to need to be able to scoop out for our cookies. All right, so I'm going to add those pecans now. Just work to get all this combined. All right, now what I have over here is I've got a cookie sheet that I've lined with a silicone baking mat. You could also use parchment here. It's just something to keep those cookies from sticking and make them a little bit easier to get off the sheet when we take those out of the oven. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. These are gonna bake for 10 to 12 minutes. It really depends on the exact size of the cookies that you scoop out. Got some already done here. And you can see that I did use a few extras just to sprinkle some pecans on the top of these to give them just a little bit more texture. Folks, you can find this recipe on the website at southernbite.com. Just visit the Simply Southern TV section at the top. Y'all enjoy.
You know, sweet potatoes are so versatile. Stacy has a ton of recipes on his website, from sweet potato casserole to sweet potato pie to candied sweet potatoes, Big Mama's sweet potato pudding.
I think we get the idea there, Kevin. Now, southernbite.com does have a great search engine, but because there are so many, like Kevin was saying, it'll actually be quicker to find this one just by looking in the Simply Southern section on his website. But by all means, check out some of those other sweet potato recipes too.
Of course, sweet potatoes are grown right here in Sweet Home, Alabama, so you can find them at a farmer's market or a farm near you by looking at sweetgrownalabama.org. And we'd like to thank those good folks for sponsoring today's recipe.
And a big thanks to all of you for joining us for Simply Southern today. Next week, we're heading to Rooster's Restaurant in Mobile, where they're so dedicated to farm to table that even their tortillas are a completely local product.
And we'll take you to a place in Northwest Alabama that's been in business for nearly 65 years. And they're preserving the things that have made them iconic since they opened in 1960. Good food, good service, and good prices. I'm Kevin Worthington.
And I'm Mary Wilson. We'll see you next week.
Simply Southern is produced by the Alabama Farmers Federation and made possible with the support of Alabama Farmers Cooperative and these sponsors.